Hi there, my name is Adam Corcoran and today I'd like to show you how to link your field data collection back into the office. Hopefully by the end of this quick session you'll discover how to create a seamless business workflow by combining a few ArcGIS field apps to work in unison. I'm going to look at how to configure a set of easy to use mobile tools for digital data collection, whilst giving office managers real-time insights into task progress and staff locations. I'm going to configure one easy workflow that I hope will give you some ideas on how you can start expanding and integrating the various ArcGIS apps for your own uses. So without further ado, what you're seeing on screen right now is our family of ArcGIS field apps. Now, I'm slightly biased, but I think one of the great things about these applications is their flexibility, and it's really up to you how you want to link them up. Naturally, you'll want to keep in mind your end user, and sometimes project requirements might dictate which of these apps you use and for what purpose. But as you can see, there's a lot of choices here. Say someone just needs to fill out a form and get those results back to the project team as quickly as possible, they could use Survey 123. Rapid data capture via big buttons, they could look at quick capture. If they need the ability to navigate to certain locations and it's in an area of poor connectivity, so you're not guaranteed signal and you might be offline, you can look at Navigator. All these apps are designed to collect data in the most efficient ways possible, depending on your use case. And you could go ahead right now and download one of these apps through iTunes, Google Play, or Windows and get collecting data right away. But the real value of these applications, as you'll see today, comes into play when you integrate them together, essentially taking the best bits of each app and linking them together in a way that suits you and your team's unique needs. And here's one such example of that, the one I'll show you now. We're going to begin in Workforce, which is the starting point for many of our customers when they start the conversation of how to collect data out in the field. From Workforce, we'll drive out to our assignments via Navigator. Once we've reached the location of our assignment, we'll capture some data via Collector. This could also be Server 123. And we'll sync what we've captured out in field back into a dashboard sitting in our team's ArcGIS Online organization. So let's begin. Here's the Workforce web application homepage. This is where we can start to build out our list of assignments to be done by our field crew. You'll notice on this page I have two different options. I have Create Project up the top right, and then I have my existing projects. Now I only have one, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the settings and we're going to configure this project. On this tab here, I can see details about this project. I can see that this workforce project is about assigning tasks throughout the county for completion. The next tab here is assignment types. Now I can go ahead right now and start typing in the assignments that I want to carry out via this project. And I want to collect data around pollution incidents. And I might also want to add in something else as well, like asset visits, for example. The next step is to add users to this project. And there's a few handy functions within this. First thing I'll point out is that you can search for users outside of your ArcGIS Online organization. So very handy if you're working with somebody, they're not a part of your account, but they do have their own ArcGIS Online subscription. The second handy function here is that I can add workers from file. And this is very useful if you're dealing with numerous workers. You don't want to add them in manually. You can add them from a file in one go. But for our purposes, I'm going to go ahead and select myself. And I'm going to say I'm a mobile worker. So in this case, I'm a dispatcher, but I'm also going to be a mobile worker. Another handy detail here is to add contact numbers for the dispatchers. So I can go ahead and say, this is my phone number. I can save it there. And if anybody has any issues that they encounter out on site, they have the contact information for the dispatcher, which is pretty handy. The final tab then is advanced. And so from here, I can choose app integration or location tracking. Now, what I'm going to do is expand this list. You can see by default that Navigator for ArcGIS is already configured. So if I click on an assignment in the mobile app, I can choose to pass the coordinates of that assignment through to Navigator. And what I can also do is integrate it with Collector Explorer Survey 123. I'm going to go ahead and use Collector here. I'm going to choose a web map that has more data in it. I'm going to choose pollution incidents here. And now I have to tie my workforce field with my collector layer. You can do it by global ID, ID, or location. For this, I'm going to choose location. My feature layer is incident reports pollution, and my collector field is going to be my location. Then to add it to the workforce project, I just click this and I'll click done. Another option as well is location tracking. So I'm going to enable this to run every, say, 5 minutes. I want to update and I want to see where my workers are out in the field every 5 minutes. And that's my workforce project configured now. I'm going to head back to the overview page. I'm going to hit open project. Now you'll notice straight away that on the map there's absolutely no data. And in my assignments and workers tabs, I can see there's no assignments, but I can see my worker and I have 0 assignments against my name. So it might be useful in certain workforce projects to have existing data within this map here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into the content, and you'll see that each time I create a workforce project, it'll create a folder of the same name within my content. And within that folder then, I have various web maps, I have a direct link to the workforce project itself, and then I have these feature layers. And so the web map that I want to change and I want my dispatchers to be able to view existing data sets is my dispatchers one. So I'm going to go ahead and open that. I'm going to click on open in map viewer. And you can see that's the same extent that I have on my workforce project. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go add, search for layers. And I have one here called incident reports. Now you remember that this is the feature layer, that pollution incidents one, that I've configured to run against workforce integrating with collector. And you can see if I click on a point, I have various attribute information about it. Once I save that then, I'll go back to my workforce project. I'll refresh the URL. And you can see that I now have existing information on which I can base assignments off. So I can see up the top here, I have 2 pollution incidents. I can go identify features in this area, select them both. I'll click select all and create assignments. That'll bring up a new tab here. I'm going to click on pollution incidents. I'm happy enough with the addresses. I'm going to assign it to myself. And I'm going to click a priority here. So I'm going to choose high. I'm going to say my due date is on this date at this time. And my unique identifier, if I do have one, I can put it in there. And I can say, please visit locations ASAP. Also worth noting as well that if I had any PDF or Excel file that I wanted to give a little bit more information to my workers, I could choose to do so here in adding attachments. But for now, I'm going to leave it as is, and I'm going to create assignments here. And that's it there, mostly for the dispatcher web app. We're now going to go in to what it looks like on the mobile app. From here, I'm going to open up Workforce and see those 2 tasks that are assigned to me in a checklist sort of fashion. I can also view them in a map to see where they are relative to my location. And I can also click into one here and see the information that the dispatcher has attached to it. Now, if I click this upwards facing arrow, I have a choice to navigate to assignment, which will pass the coordinates of my incident into Navigator for me to drive to, walk to, whatever I want. Now, let's pretend I did navigate to my assignment. I'm going to open up Workforce again, and I have an option here to select status. So I'm going to click Start here, but I can pause, finish, decline, or reset the task. Now I'm going to open up Collector, and from here I have information to fill out. So I'm going to take a photo. Here's one of my neighboring cows in the field next to my house. If I scroll down, you'll see it's pre-populated the date and time. And I can have various drop downs now associated with it. An interesting one as well is that I can scan a barcode if I have it. So here's one of a water bottle I have with me. But if your asset does have a barcode, you can use Collector to scan it. And I'll just fill out all the other information and hit submit. Once that's submitted, then I can go back into Workforce and finish my assignment. Now if I go back into the dispatcher view in Workforce, you'll see there's a little green dot beside pollution incidents, and there's a gray circle where that task has yet to be completed. So this is the one that's been completed. And also from here then I can change the priority of it, or I can cancel it, for example. So now there's only one pollution incident that's being completed. But what's really great about this is that I can put it in to something like an ArcGIS dashboard where I have this kind of interactive view of my data. I can see total assets surveyed. I can see resolved incidents at a very high level. And even in the map view, you can see what's cancelled, what's completed, and you can see the location of the worker there as well. And that is it from me. So just to recap, we talked about mobile workflows and integrating the various ArcGIS apps. We started off in Workforce and we configured a project as a dispatcher. We assigned tasks to our mobile workers. Then when our mobile workers were out on site, they opened up Workforce. They saw the assignments that we had set them, and they could click on an assignment, navigate to it using Navigator. And from there, we collected information using Collector. We took photos, we scanned barcodes, we chose from numerous drop-down menus. And then from there, then we had a brief look again at the Workforce Dispatcher view, which gets updated as soon as the task is finished or the status is changed. And then finally, we looked at how you can put that into an interactive dashboard for senior management, team leaders, project teams. Everybody has access to interactive data on a single screen. And that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this quick session on mobile workflows.